So a bit of an unusual episode today. I've started to build by hand a tower so that I can get Enderman pearls. I've tried to trade with the villagers, but I just can't get the right enchantments. Even going up clerics on a master didn't work. So I've decided to do it the old-fashioned way. So the way this works is this is only part of the tower. So you go in and you have a bubble lift here. You come out at the top, and then at night you stand around and look to see if you can see any Enderman, and when if you see one you stare directly at it, and then it comes up to attack you, and you hide under the eaves here and whack it with a sword. Then, because Endermen are fairly rare, in order to try and regenerate them if there's none around, the idea is that you then continue this tower up to another 100 and, I think it has to be at least 128 blocks above ground, to despawn all of the mobs and then spawn them back in again. So I've done this bit by hand, but I thought this is an ideal opportunity for the turtle to do this, to get back either from this level or indeed from another 120 odd blocks above. You simply drop down into I've put 2 blocks of water with a slab at the bottom so I don't drown in here, and that does it. So I thought what I would do today is to show you how I code this in. What's the process? How does it all work? So what I've done is I've put a chest in the ground, and it's completely full of cobble. So you've got 27 stacks of cobble there. It'll probably use all of that. And then in my inventory I've got the rest of the stuff that I'm going to need here to get it finished. So I've now got, this is my starting point. This is what you would set it up. Now I've got to write the code for it to produce this. So how do we go about doing that? Well, if you come back to here, the first thing to do, you've already got the chest, you're sitting on top of it, you've got to build this base. The water source is not relevant, that will be done here under the chest. So we've got to build a base which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks along by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks in that direction. I haven't filled those in yet, but that's the principle. So that's the first thing we're going to need to do. So let's show you the process of getting this new thing in place. So if I put down another turtle just for comparison, and then we start the toolkit. I think putting it in the mob farm tools would be an appropriate place because it is to do with kind of a mob farm. So let's do that. And at the moment I've got the first 4 sections here are for if you find a dungeon mob spawner. You can create the cube around it and either dig a trench for it to drop the mobs, or you can make this bubble lift similar to what I just showed you just now. These 4 I haven't shown you that this builds out of cobble a sort of multi-mob spawner that you build over the ocean. It works, but it takes an awful lot of cobble. So I'm guessing putting it in here would be an ideal place. Maybe move those down and put it in at number 5 and call it maybe Ender Tower. So that's what we're looking for. So let's go back to this one, and I'll show you the code so that we can start to create that. So in the main function here in Toolkit, so this is tk.lure toolkit, the bit that does the work is here, and so the first function that's called is get task, so that's the one that we need to modify. Now this one has got various choices. As you can see, we've got mining, farming, obsidian, mob spawner tools. So I've already added in here a new option. So what I did was I renumbered the 4 remaining mob spawner constructors here, 67 to 69. This was 65, so it's just been added to, and I've added in this one here. So choice 65 is the Enderman tower, and then it's starts the process off of doing here. So to add a new tool, you first of all add them to this initial list, which is get task. So the next thing we need to alter, there are 4 sections to the get task. The get task options here, this is the table of different options that are available. I haven't commented them here, but you can kind of get what they are from, and here we are, we've got this one. So we've got the 9x9 cube around the spawner and so on. And what I need to do here is, I've already put create Enderman observation tower, but I've actually put it in the wrong place. So if I cut that, it should be there, so that we've got the mob spawning, mob tower, the spawner tower thing, which is these 4 options here underneath. So we've got the mob bubble lift, so that's option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the 6th list down, so this would be 6, 5, and that's our create Enderman observation tower. So that's in this section. Next one we need to alter is the task text. So again, if you look for the 65s down here, so we've got the mob related stuff. So I've renamed, this was originally 65, I've renamed it 66 to the bottom, and I've added a new text 65. So this one says find an open plains area, bury a chest in the ground. I will need 29 stacks of cobble, andesite, diorite or granite in total. Can be polished in the chest. So that's your instructions as to what is required. And then the final thing you'll need to add to a new function, new task, is the inventory as what's required. So again, we'll go down to the mob spawner, and again I've already renumbered this lot down here. 66, this was the path to the water and all the rest of it. So this is our new choice for 65, build an Enderman tower. Now it's going to use a lot of fuel. I've made a rough guess at around 2,500 moves. It might be more, I'll check that out as we go. So this is just an estimate. Now I want to find out whether the user has already done what they were supposed to do and put a chest on the ground and stood the turtle on it. So this one here checks to see whether there is a chest below, and if there isn't, which is this not equal sign here, if there's not a Minecraft chest below, then it will ask the user to put in a chest, one chest there, and once it has got it, it will then place it down beneath itself, and then it will look for 16 stacks of stone. By putting the word stone here, that will make sure that it's only any kind of stone. It doesn't have to be specifically cobblestone. And then once you've loaded up all the stacks, it will, in a for loop, select each one inventory slot in turn and drop it down into the chest. Then it will ask again for the remaining 13 stacks to make 16 plus 13, 27 stacks. 29 stacks, so that we've got a full inventory. and it'll do the same again. So everything you put in will simply be selected and dropped into the chest below. So the turtle will be empty, full chest below. So that's in case the user didn't do it. Then once once these items have been found, we need then the following: the Minecraft water buckets. We only need 2 of those because we'll be creating a water source. Then once the tower has been built, it has to be the water has to be placed on the soul sand individually on every single block. So I thought if I had 10 buckets in there and filled them all from the water source, then we only need to do that we can do that sort of run 10 times in one go, then refill the buckets. So it will save a considerable amount of time and fuel. Now the fence, I'm not too sure. I've estimated 2 stacks. Signs I only need 8, and 1 slab. That's to go in the bottom of the pool where the player drops down. And of course we need soul sand. I want 2 blocks because I have my lift is divided into 2 sections. Then it prints out a message that says thank you, and press escape, ready for playing. And then we want a new function called create ender tower. So that's our next one. So that's all the setups done for getting the task sorted out. So I've now created a new one up here somewhere, create ender tower, and this is as far as I've got. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, I need to remove 1 stack of stone from the chest and build the base floor, then move forward, build the water source with soul sand at the base of the first water source. So that's the kind of the first 3 sections that I need to do. So first job is to remove 1 stack of stone from the chest. So this can be done directly with this command, which is built in to the Turtle API. So that's just turtle suck down, and that will do that just once and remove the 1 stack of cobble or whatever happens to be in. It doesn't specify, it just takes it down. So I think it's now time to test this to see if it works. So if I save that and we go, we don't need this tower, I'll break that one, this miner, put that back in the inventory, and we'll do this one, and oops, we'll go TK. Now if I've not made any mistakes, this will run. If not, oh, there we go, I've got an error in the code. So let's get that. It's on 3681. Now that one looks okay for I equals 116. Oh, there's my error. I've put an extra comma where it shouldn't go, and I've also done it there. So we'll resave, go back and try again. Okay, success. So we now want to check whether our Mob Farm Tools inventory has got that new stuff in it. So 6 again, and so far so good. We've got create Enderman observation tower. It just fits in, so I've got the length of the text right there. Now if this works, well, all that should happen is this stage is it will ask me for these various items. So let's try that. We'll go to create the observation tower, find an open plains area, bury a chest in the ground. Oh, I've got a minor error there, so I will fix that. The chest of the ground, here we go, look. That's better. Good, go back to this. Only 29 stacks of cobble, andesite, diorite or granite in total can be polished in the chest. Okay, no full stop there, so we'll put that on. Not that it's important, but might as well. There we go. Let's save that. Now saving this won't make any difference to the current running program because it has to be restarted, but we'll come across any other errors and fix that. So enter to continue. So we'll press enter. 2 Minecraft water buckets. Right, so we'll now press, with luck, all this should do at the moment is to draw up some blocks from the chest below. Yes, there we are. So we've got cobblestone, and we should check that inside the chest there's one missing. So far so good. That's the first step done. So the most complicated bit was setting up the menu system, and now we're working on the code to run this. So the first job I'll do is to put that cobble back where it should be, and then we can escape from that and bring the code back in. So we know this lot is all now working. So it's our create ender tower. So it's got turtle sunk down, which is what it did. We've got a stack of cobble in there. So build the base floor. So how are we going to do that? Let's escape from this for a minute. Several methods of doing it, but we don't want to disturb that chest. So I'm thinking if we go back 2 places and then turn round and go to this space here inside the ground, so that we're digging into the ground, then clear this area here so that it's completely empty. That would be a good start. Then maybe repeat it over here. So yep, let's do that. So we want to go back twice, do a left, place ourselves in there, and then clear that area, which is 3 by 9. Okay, let's go back. Ready, bring back the code. Now this is where the turtle go function comes in really useful. This allows us to do many movements, as I think I've shown on previous sections of code. So the back is not so easy to do here. So what we're going to do is to go turn right twice. Then that will turn us round to face the other direction. Then forward from where we are 2. Then we want to turn right 1. Then we might as well go down 1. Now this will automatically dig the blocks there. So let me just check that. We've got right 2, forward 2, right 1, down 1. So if we escape from here, back to the game, I should have stayed where we were. Right, so we're on top of the chest, so facing the water. So we turn twice and face this way, forward 2, that brings us to here. Now because we're then facing in that direction, we want to turn right, so we turn towards that one, then forward onto this block, and then down. And then we can use the built-in clear rectangle function to clear a rectangle which is 3 long by 9 wide. So let's escape from that. So that's our first movement, right 2, forward 2, right 1, down 1. Now we can do the clear rectangle. So if I find the function that's already here, look, we've got a width, length, and whether or not we're extending it. Now extend it means, are we going to remove the blocks above and below? The answer to that is no. We just want to cut this rectangle out. So all we need to supply it is with the width and the length. So if I copy that and we'll put it in here. So this of course is, this is not a turtle It's not from the turtle class. This is a direct function in this TK. So clear rectangle, and then the width is 9, because we're doing it kind of the short way, and then the length is 3. That's the way that this turtle, all the functions on this turtle work. If I just come out of that, save it, all the functions of this turtle work on the principle of starting on what I would call the lower left corner of the area that they're working on. So if we had the turtle in here and we wanted to clear a rectangle there, that's the width, that's the length. As it happens, we're starting it here, so the width is 9 and the length is 3. So normally I would continue just adding the code to get this whole area done, but just to prove that it's working, we can now restart the code there and just check that it's doing what it's supposed to. So escape for a minute, just check that we've done what we wanted to do. Yep, that's fine, that's already saved. So we can just TK again. Should start any second now. I'm just getting out the way. Yep, it's got everything. So there it is, coming towards us twice. Oh, now one mistake I made, so I'm going to stop it, is it's going to break that chest. Okay, now it didn't actually break it because the turtle is programmed, if it comes across a chest, to withdraw as much as it can from the chest, which it's done, and then to climb up and over it. So this is kind of a built-in safety feature that comes from the turtle class. I won't go into how it does that, but it does. So no probs. Let's put this back where it belongs. Let's change the code to make sure that I fix that error. So this is perfectly okay. It's just that we needed to go forward one before starting to do this rectangle. Okay, so we'll save that. So you can now see the process of trial and error and testing things out by doing it all in stages. So hopefully this will work this time. Now this time forward, that's it. Now it's going to cut that rectangle and then return back home. Excellent. So our next job, once we've done that side there, will be to turn it round, bring it across to here, and then repeat the process. But because it works from the lower left corner, this time we would need to make it go up here and then across and back down, and then it would return to this point here. So it's a similar process, but a different method. So let's do, first of all, we need to go back to this point here. So we need to rotate twice and forward twice. So let's escape from that. So this has worked perfectly. So T : go, and then we're going to do right 2, forward 2. Then we'll need to turn left once so that we're facing the correct direction, and then clear rectangle. This time it's the other way round, we're clearing it 3 wide by 9 long. So let's again just make sure that I've got that right 2, forward 2, left 1. So right 2, forward 2, left 1, and then it will clear that one. Okay, so we'll remove the dirt from there, put that back in, and let's just manually change that. So go right 2, oops, 2, forward 2, left 1. I'm just checking whether that will work. Yes, it does perfectly. Okay, so now we can get it to go back onto the chest here. So right, so it's now returned to this point, and hopefully it will now clear this other section of rectangle. I haven't bothered too much about this bit here because we need to create a water source, and I think that would be as well to be corrected at the same time as the water source is being created. So that should return back to where it started from, which it does indeed. So we're now ready for the next stage. I think that might be sensible to do the water source here. So let's combine that with, now that we've got a stack of cobble in here, would be sensible to raise it up from its current position, move it over to here, turn it in that direction, and then place cobble all the way along here, across, all the way back down here, and so on. So we're putting cobble in all that area here. Then this one we'll do separately on a different pattern, because what we'll need to do is to put cobble here and here, but we want a water source to run from this one here, which will be where the soul sand goes. This one here is kind of irrelevant, it's in the middle of the tower. Then this one here will be the 2 deep section where the player can fall from the tower into a 1.5 block depth of water. That's the edge of the tower, and then we've got a couple of blocks for the base there. So let's just check that. So yep, that will be the 2 blocks edge of the tower. That's the tower side. That's a 1.5 block depth. This would effectively in here be a water source block, although this one's solid. That's because I built it by hand, but it doesn't matter if that continues to be water, because it doesn't affect the action of the soul sand here. At least I don't think it does. That might be worth checking just to make sure that having another water source in there, I'm fairly sure it doesn't mess things up, but I will check. So yeah, that's our next section to code. So I'll come back in a second when the code is ready to start writing. Right, so the next step is to move the turtle from its current position to this corner and bring it up 1 block. So we can test that using the go command, which is kind of like a way of testing out possibilities. So we're going to go left once, so it rotates and faces this way, then forward 1, 2, 3, 4, then up 1, and then right 1. So if I can remember that, so that's go. So it was left 1, forward 4, up 1, right 1. Let me just check that. Left 1, forward 4, up 1, right 1. Yep. Okay, so we can now add that to the code. Right 1, up 1. It doesn't matter which whether you do it going up first or right. The end result's the same. You do a left, go forward 4, and then you can either go up, then turn right, or turn right. It really doesn't matter. So let's do it that way. Then we're in the correct place, and we're now going to fill in a 9x3 area with cobble. I think the easiest way to do this would be to use the go command again. This one has the ability to place cobble using the letter C. So if we go, we're already up at the top, so we want to go cobble. There's 3 directions. 0 is up, 1 is forward, and 2 is down. So we want to place it down. Then we want to go forward 1, and then kind of repeat that for 9 blocks. We could do a for loop here, but given how easy it is to just repeat that within this thing, you can put spaces in between the, so it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that will go and place 9 blocks of cobble, but on the last one here we don't want it to go forward anymore, because that would go into the 10th block. So what we want to do here, instead of going forward 1, is that we are going to go right 1, then forward 1, then right 1 again, and that will then allow us to repeat this for the second line. This is coming back down from the top, so that's exactly the same, except at the bottom here we're not going to go right, we're going to go left. Let me show you in, just save that. Okay, so we're up here, we want to place a cobble below, forward 1, and then place another cobble, so we do that once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, except we're not going forward then. We're going to do a right turn, forward, right turn, and then we're going to repeat that 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then again we're not going to go forward. We're this time going to turn left, forward, left, and then replace all the cobble up to here. Now because we end at this point here, that will be quite convenient to then do the building of this water source at that point. So let's complete the code for that first of all. As I say, this may not be the most efficient way of doing it from kind of the looks of the code. We like to use loops wherever possible. This is going to do the same, and this and again at the end we do want to go right, forward and right 1, so that will bring us back to that place. So I think it will be wise to test this out, so we'll save it. Right, so it's returning back to where it was before, which was there. Now it's going up, and it should start to place the cobble down. So if I've got this right, it should fill in this gap. Yep, there we are. So far so good. Now it's already getting to 40 minutes for this video. I might just include the section here to put the water sources in. It's going to be slightly easier to fill this in first, because the water sources need to sit here, here and here. So obviously at the moment there's no side channel, so it might be as well just to complete this section first, then come back here. So I'll add the code, get it to do that, and I'll come back online once we're ready to create the water source, because that's probably quite an interesting thing to watch. Right, so I've been thinking about how we've been doing this, and initially what I did was I put these 3 lines which drop the cobble in and put them into a loop with a minor modification of the sort of the last journey here, so that in theory what would happen is that it would come up and do these 3, then instead of turning and facing there, it would continue to come over to here, turn that way, and then repeat those 3 lines again in a loop, like so, and then come back out here, and that should work perfectly, although I haven't tested it. I then remembered that the go function allows the cobble to be placed downwards even if there's an existing block below, so that I've actually wasted fuel by cutting out these rectangles first. I could have just done straight away the command to place cobble down, and that would automatically remove the soil. So let me show you how that works. So this is the original plan here. So I'm going to make that into a multiple comment, so that's no longer not going to work. And I've adjusted that initial command so that when the turtle's on the chest, instead of coming out to here and then starting here, it's going to come out and come right across to this corner on the ground level, turn that way, and then it will do this cobble, and then move across and do the cobble there. So that should work just as well, but we need to make a minor adjustment to the code to ensure that it does. If I go over to the turtle class, you can see that the go function here, I'll just copy that and put that back in here so that we know what we're doing. I'll put it in as a comment. Ignore the self because that's part of the class structure. So this is the path. Then we've got these various things that we can use. Now we're not going to use any of them. We don't need a torch, so that would be false. It's false by default, but it's nice to specify it. Then of course we're not using a torch. The interval would be 0. And then this is the important one, leave existing. So are we leaving whatever block is already under there? And that is false. No, we are not leaving the existing. We want to destroy what's underneath it. So if I put that false in, and we'll copy those 3 parameters from there. Oops, I forgot the comma there. And there. That's it. That should now do exactly what this lot did, but all in one go. So I haven't tested this, but there's no reason why it shouldn't work. So here's where I get to look stupid. So what we'll do first is break a couple of these blocks out just to prove that it can do the job. Then we'll put some dirt, if there's any here. No, some in my thing. Good. So we'll put a couple of dirt around randomly, and then we'll move 5, enter. So what should happen this time is that it should come towards me, stay at ground level. It won't fill anything here because it hasn't been instructed to, but it will make sure that there's cobble below it from this point on. Now because I said leave existing is false, it is automatically digging the cobble that's already there. So if I had set leave existing to true and it came across dirt, it would leave dirt because it's a block. So although it seems a bit annoying that it's digging this cobble out again, at least it's proving that it's working. So I'll wait until it gets to this end here, and then I'll shift back in. So we're just going to quit the video. Okay, so it's heading up to the end of the row here. So this time it should go forward to that corner and replace it with cobble. Excellent, so that seems to be doing its job. Make sure it turns the right direction. Yep, there's no reason to suspect because I copied the exact code we've got here, so it should go right across to here and turn and face that way. So instead of having to start our water source placement from the code that runs from here, it will start from this position here, in which case what I'll probably do is to make it rotate this way, head that way, while it's at going back that way, fill in the missing cobble blocks here. There it is, that's all ready. So yeah, we'll get it to go back here, turn, place 2 cobble blocks over the chest, and then create the water source here. So what I want here, where this dirt block is to put a soul sand in. Then a source block will sit there. Dig this one out, put a block in here, and then this one needs to be 2 deep. So as we're going along here, I'll dig down and place the slab at the bottom here, then put the other water source in here, which should make a 3-block water source, so that this centre one can be used as the to supply water for building up on top of the soul sand here. So that should all work. Right, before building the water source, there's a couple of changes that I felt necessary to make. So this is my hand-built tower. Soul sand down there. I'm going to now make my water source 4 blocks long. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 under there. So that when the turtle is doing this automatically, it will need access to an open water source so that it can place water here, then drop a block here, place water, drop a block, place water, drop a block as it goes up. And it's far easier to do that if it can come back and refill its buckets from here. So we only have to kind of go backwards and forwards from here to here. This is only going to be used until we reach the first level of the tower. The second level, which will be up here, has the water source in exactly the same place, but of course starting at a different position. So what we'll do in this case is probably to build the water source at the top of the tower, and then bring the turtle down to fill it and work its way up, similar to the way the bubble lift was made in the spawner things that you saw on previous videos. So we'll go back and write the code to put the water sources now starting here and running for 4 blocks. Well, the code's been adjusted to create the water sources here, so we'll see if it works. So it should replace those with cobble. Remove this one, soul sand below, cobble below on this one. So we've got a 3 wide water source. So far so good. Now it should replace that with a slab. Okay, yep, that has worked. So we've now got our soul sand here with the bubbles already arising, then water source here and a water source here on a slab so that I can stand in it without drowning. It's probably not necessary, but I just feel safer with an extra half slab of water. So that has worked perfectly. So we're now on the next stages. So let me show you the code for that. So this is how far we got so far. This line here took us to the corner, and then to these ones here took us to the corner. If I can just go back to the over here, and then if we just escape from that for a second, then this one here took us back to just behind the chest. So that worked quite well. And then after it's got behind the chest, it uses this place function of the turtle class to put soul sand down, and then it did the other complicated movements. What I had to do was using this slot, which you can, I'll leave it there for a few seconds so you can have a look through. I've put comments in to show you what it does. So let's go back to the actual world here. So the way it worked was initially it dug down the dirt here, put soul sand at the bottom, put cobble at the bottom here, put cobble initially at the bottom here, then sealed this end and put the water source here and here to make a 3-block water source. Once that was working and established, it refilled one of the buckets from here, then dug out this cobble, went down one more place and turned round, placed the block underneath the water source, and then came back up here, moved up, removed, placed a block below, and then put the final bucket that had picked up from the middle. So we've got this water source. The reason for the complexity is that in this particular version the turtle will sit in water. Let me just show you. If we go back 2 and down 1, now you can see that the water covers the turtle. It's kind of waterlogged, but it's unique to this later versions. If you try doing this in an earlier version of Minecraft, or possibly an earlier version of ccTweaked, this turtle will replace the source block. So I could have put this slab in this particular version by simply dropping into the water source and chucking it in, but because I want this to work with all earlier versions as well, I had to do it kind of the old-fashioned way, so that was why it was done like that. But now that works successfully, we've started the whole process. So this video was just to give you an insight into how you can use the turtle class yourselves to expand on the toolkit to do what basically you want to do by thinking it through and following some of the routines that have already been written for you, rather than you having to write your own. So what I'll do next is to for the next video I will simply show you how this works rather than showing the code in detail. So I hope this one has been helpful for you.